I remember the morning. I realized how much deep I had fallen. The electricity had been cut off. The fridge was empty, and I had no idea how I was going to pay the rent. I had been living paychecks to paychecks, and suddenly, even that wasn't enough. Every bill, every responsibility, every little hope I had seemed to crush me. I felt trapped. I was an adult woman in my late 20s, fully responsible for myself, yet completely helpless. I had always been someone who believed in working hard, in trying to do the right things, and yet here I was broke, scared, and alone. The fear I felt that day was paralyzing. I remember sitting on the cold floor of my apartment, head in my hands, thinking, how did it come to this? How do I even start fixing this mess? It was the first time in my adult life that I truly felt powerless. I had no safety net, no one to call for help, no family to lend me money. I had debt piling up, people calling me, and my mind racing with panic. The world seemed unfair. I wondered if I would ever get out of the cycle, if I would ever be able to breathe freely again. But then, in the middle of that despair, something inside me stirred. A tiny, quiet voice said, you cannot stay here. You may be down, but you are not defeated. You can rise, and you have to rise. That was the turning point. I realized that if I didn't act, I would stay trapped forever. I had to take control of my life, no matter how small the steps. The first step was brutal. I had to face the truth. I was broke, and nothing would change unless I made it change myself. No excuses, no blaming anyone, no waiting for the miracle. I sat down with a notebook and wrote everything: my income, my expenses, my debts, everything. Seeing the number on paper was terrifying, but seeing them also gave me clarity. I made a promise to myself that day. No matter how hard it gets, I will never give up. I will find a way. With no money, I couldn't afford to sit and wait. I had to find ways to earn. I started looking for every opportunity: odd jobs, freelance work, anything I could do for home. It was exhausting. There were days I barely slept, juggling multiple small jobs just to cover rent and food. I delivered groceries, did cleaning, helped neighbors with errands, and even offered to tutor online for a few hours. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't easy. Many times I felt humiliated or frustrated, but slowly the work added up. Every penny I earned felt like a small victory. It was proof that I could survive and eventually I could thrive. I realized that survival alone wasn't enough. I wanted to create stability, not just scraped by. I decided to invest in myself. I took free online courses, read books about finance, business, and personal growth. I learned skill that could make me independent. Digital marketing, writing, and basic accountings. It wasn't easy to study after 12 to 14 hours of work. My body ached. My mind screamed for rest. But I reminded myself that this pain was temporary and the reward would last a lifetime. Slowly, I began building a foundation for a better future. After a year of saving and learning, I noticed a small opportunity starting a small freelance business online. It was scary. I had no capital, no clients, and no experience running a business. But I had a vision. I wanted financial freedom and the ability to create my own life. I started with small projects, writing, data entry, managing social media accounts. Some days I earned nothing. Some clients rejected me. Some nights I cried, wondering if I was foolish for taking this risk. But I kept going. Every rejection became a lesson. Every small success became a building block. I reinvested every rupee I earned into growing my skill and reaching more clients. Slowly, my work became recognized. People appreciated my dedication and honesty. My reputation grew, and with it, my income. The hardest part of this journey wasn't the financial struggle, it was fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of losing everything I had worked for. There were times when I almost gave up, times when I thought, maybe this is too much for me, maybe I'm not cut out for this. But every time I felt fear, I reminded myself of where I came from and the days when I had no money, no hope, no one to rely on. I remembered the promise I made to myself that night, sitting on my empty floor with tears in my eyes. I will rise and I will not give up. Courage, I learned, isn't the absence of fear, it's acting despite it. Over the next few years, I continued work tirelessly. I saved money, built a client base, and expanded my freelance work in a small online business. I learned how to budget, how to invest, and how to make smart financial choices. I remember the first time I could pay all my bills on time without stress. The first time I bought a small gift for my mother without thinking twice. The first time I could sleep at night knowing I had a safety net. Those small wins gave me confidence. They showed me that I was not just surviving, I was building a life. Today I'm financially stable. I run my own business, support myself comfortably, and even help others who are struggling. I can travel, plan for the future, and invest in my dreams. But more than the money, what I gained was freedom. Freedom to live life on my own terms. Freedom to make choices without fear and freedom to believe in myself. People often ask me, "Hey Amina, how did you do that? How did you go from nothing to this?" And I tell them it wasn't magic, it wasn't luck, it was courage, hard work, persistence, and the refusal to let fear or circumstances decide my life. My journey has inspired many people around me. Friends, family, and even strangers have reached out saying, "Your story give me hope." That is the most rewarding part. I'm no longer living for survival. I'm living to inspire others, to show them that financial crisis, failure, and fear are not the end. They are just the beginning of your story. I learned that life is not about how many times you fall, it's about how many times you get up. And each time you rise, you grow stronger, braver, and wiser. The lessons I learned from my previous life. The first step to change is accepting your situation fully. Denial only delays action. Every tiny step can create momentum. One small win can lead to another. Skills, knowledge, and confidence are the best investment you can make. Fear is natural. Courage is acting despite it. Consistency and effort matter more than luck or talent. Helping others amplifies your own growth and purpose. If you are struggling today, if the bills are piling up, if fear is crushing you, I want you to hear this. You are stronger than you think. You are capable more than you know. Your current situation is not your destiny. One decision, one small step, one brave act can change your entire life. I'm living proof that even when life gives you nothing, you can build everything. You can rise. You can create stability, freedom, and joy. You can inspire others. You can change your story. So take the step today, no matter how small, no matter how scared you feel. Choose yourself, choose courage, and choose to ride. I did it, and so can you. If this video inspired you, do subscribe the channel and follow for more inspiring stories.